To a point where Rondo's almost going to start coughing out loud with their mask on when people are getting nearby. It's just like, dude, yeah. And then they look at us weird, like we're in their space, and it's like, bitch, we're 20 feet away. You came to us.
I never thought about coughing as a weapon. Like, get away from me. That's a great way to repel people.
Yeah,
be a crazy
I've seen videos. Yeah, people like coughing. It is, dude. It's a new weapon. Yeah, let's just jump right in. Yeah.
Alright. This is podcast number 12 now?
Number 12.
Nice. We got our guest, Oscar. Oscar, can you say your last name? I don't want to butcher it.
It's Oscar Guiterrez.
Gutierrez, see?
Yeah, it sounds like in English.
You made me think it was some crazy last name.
No, I was like, is it the R's are different? Like, am I going to say it wrong?
Yeah, you got to roll them. So if I say it the right way, it's Gutierrez.
Gutierrez.
Yeah.
See, I'm butchering it already.
That was all right. That was not too bad.
Yeah. But thanks for jumping on, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
A lot of eventful things are happening around us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know Miguel, but there's
I was going to ask you guys about that.
Oh, Miguel,
Blade Runner stuff.
Miguel's not in the Bay Area?
No, I'm in Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're dealing with some orange stuff right now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Is that just from just the scale of the fires, just how big they are?
It's from Oregon, right?
Yeah, I saw in the news that it's
fire.
winds are pushing from the north, Oregon fires, and the reason it was orange is because we had the marine layer, so that was thick, and then the smoke was above it. So essentially, the marine layer was protecting us from like poor air quality. It was like moderate, but today it wasn't orange, but now like all the smoke got through. So today the air quality is really bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, and the's ash like everywhere, more so now.
Yeah, I can see it like in my car, just like it's like super dirty now, just like parked and whatnot.
Yeah, I saw some pictures and it just looked pretty crazy, like a movie or something.
Yeah, it was like Blade Runner when I woke up. Like it was all orange, like just walking out. Like what is going on?
Yeah, I think
you don't even notice the sun. You don't even notice the sun.
No, and I think the trippiest part was like nobody foresaw it. So like the entire West Coast woke up to the orange sky, even the news. So yeah, it was just trippy for everybody.
Freaking Armageddon.
Yeah.
And the news is so gloom. Like, when are we gonna see the sun again? Like, oh come on, it's not that gloom. It's gonna go back to normal eventually. But
Yikes.
Yeah. But
because there's like 4 big fires or something like that, all over the place.
I think there's more.
More than that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Is that from lightning strikes and whatnot?
I think all the ones here, yes, and then Oregon, the news said that it was due to lightning, and then SoCal was the one by the baby reveal. They started a fire.
Baby what?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so these people set up pyrotechnics. They went to a park and set off this baby reveal. The weeds caught on fire, and they were all running to put it out, and it just took over.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? You're the baby that caused the SoCal fire.
Like all your friends are like, this is all your fault. Oh man.
And like, I don't think you can find their names online or anywhere, because I'm pretty sure they'd be getting like death threats.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's good that they didn't release their names, because
I'm sure they have video.
Yeah, their video that they uploaded. Yeah.
Get that iCloud, get that off, just as, as much as you can. Yeah.
So it seems like every year around this time is when you guys get fires. Is that just part of just because it's the dry season or something?
Yeah, and then just California's in a constant drought. When we get out of a drought, people think we're fine, but if you notice, like the Bay Area, they just keep building and building and building. So it's just taxing the infrastructure. Where along with the fires, now we have like the rolling blackouts, you know?
Man, yeah.
And so a lot of the twos is because they're building so much, it's taxing everything, PG&E, you know? It's just I wish it would just kind of like mellow out a bit and stop. You know, like SFs is building on top of each other. Like they want to be like the next New York, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh man.
Uh,
Just yeah, lots going on. What's it called? The last time I saw you, I swear I was just like, yeah, I was gonna go to jiu-jitsu like a normal day.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, it just like can't go back to the city. I had no idea that I was never gonna like see you for a while.
I know, it's crazy.
And now you have like super long hair. Like I knew you had long hair, but now it's like even longer.
Yeah.
How long was it before?
I think it's probably grown like a good 4 inches, maybe.
Oh snap!
Yeah, it was probably like to here.
You haven't cut it at all, trimmed it or anything.
No, we need to trim it. It's like getting tangled, and I'm not used to long hair, so I'm still learning every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, dude. Oh man. So, did you get the email today? Any chance?
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what
got the email.
the email I'm talking about?
Yeah. Rondo's gonna like do a draft later, and then we'll like see how we want to respond. Yeah.
Miguel saying, you know, that Ralph Gracie emailed us and was like, in a month, the gym's gonna open again. And I was just like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it yet.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't been in the city for what was it, six months now, 7 months, and I'm still kind of iffy about everything.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I guess we wanted to hear your take on the whole situation of what's going on.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, because Nate said you work in COVID areas.
Yeah, so I work with the city for the Department of Public Health. And so at the beginning of this, we were called up as like disaster service workers. So it's part of our contract for a natural disaster. Essentially, we're planned for natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, tornadoes, stuff like that. And it's supposed to be like just a 2-week period to send out city employees to provide support, different areas in the city, programs, services, housing. But this is a first because it's a pandemic. So what should have been like a 2-week deployment is now going 6-7 months.
Dang.
You know, and so in April I was deployed, and you can't say no. Essentially, you can. So say if like I had medical issues, medical concerns, and I'm a at-risk person, then I could fill out some form, have a doctor's note, be like, hey, you know, I can't be deployed to any sites where I could be increased exposure. And so they'll give me so much time, but essentially I have to use my own sick and vacation time. So it's not like the city's going to give me money to like sit out. But then they also have the option where it's like, hey, you know, I want to deploy and help, but I can't be exposed. So then they'll try to send me somewhere where I can work remotely, like essentially from home, you know, do stuff with the computer, making phone calls. So we have people in the city that do that, and they're using that for like tracking, to track up the numbers, cases. They also have those people working to help get individuals into shelters, temporary shelters. So I was pulled to a isolation and quarantine site. So it's a hotel that the city's kind of renting out. And so where the rooms are made available to, essentially it's mostly low-income individuals, low-income households. So it's families, you know, that live maybe 10 people to a household, you know, only have 1 bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment, but there's 10 people. And say like one of them gets COVID, they're positive. So, you know, they find out by getting tested at these sites made available to them for free. And then they'll say, you know, are you able to self-isolate at home safely without exposing yourself to anybody else? You know, and they say, no, I live in a 1 bedroom with 10 people. You know, they'll be like, okay, so we'll send you to these hotels. So it's essentially, we have 24/7 nursing staff, behavioral health clinicians, which that's what I am, to provide emotional support. Because, you know, people are freaked out. You know, they get COVID and they don't know what that means. You know, they think it's like the end of the world. So they get there, the nurses in full gear take them up to their assigned room, and essentially the stays for like average about 14 days. And that just changes based on new information, also contact tracing when the person's exposed to COVID or gets it, when they're tested. So it's based off of that date. And essentially, we get individuals who have like no symptoms, so they need to stay there for like 7 days, being monitored daily to see if they get any symptoms. And after a certain amount of time, the doctor on call will like clear them so they can return back home because they didn't develop symptoms. And then in that time, if they feel the need, they'll test them to see if they're positive or negative. If they're negative, but they were exposed to somebody, they'll just hold them for a certain amount of days to see if they do develop symptoms.
Oh, I see.
And so the main purpose of these hotels is to reduce the spread and help the individuals who can't self-isolate to prevent spreading it further. So we get families, kids, moms, dads, and a lot of minorities. We got like monolingual Spanish-speaking, Tagalog, Cantonese, and then based on staffing, we do try to get individuals who are bilingual. So I'm bilingual, I speak Spanish, so it's great because we get a lot of Latinos in this particular hotel, so they feel a little better when they can actually communicate their needs and concerns, and so I'm there to support them, make sure that they maintain the whole stay, and while they're at the hotel, following all the rules and safety precautions for themselves and for others. So yeah, but it is stressful because it's like when I was deployed, it's like I was like, I'm gonna be in front of like being exposed, like because
And
it's
then
at the
you have to
beginning.
go home after,
Yeah,
right?
and then my wife, has asthma and she has poor lungs, so it's like last thing I want to do is pass it on to her.
Yeah.
So my first month, I was just super stressed. I was literally taking like 2 to 3 showers a day.
Yeah.
And my schedule at this site was like off from a regular 9 to 5. So I got off my shift on Friday. I got a call at 5 and said, hey, we need you to be deployed at this hotel. I'm like, cool, when? They're all, this Sunday. I'm like, okay, and you're working 2 to 10:30. And I was like, okay. And so I had one day off, and then a whole new location, kind of like thrown into the fire and like learning as we went. And so, because it's a first for everybody. So not knowing what services we needed, what supplies we needed, like it was just constantly like order this, like stuff kept coming up while we're trying to provide support to all these individuals. So they're freaked out, and then we don't want them to see us freaking out about trying to be prepared for them.
Yeah.
And it's just like advocating for them, like we need these things because these are the type of people we're going to get. We're going to have kids, so we need kids supplies, kids clothes,
Entertainment for the kids.
Yeah. It's like it's essentially they're being sent to a hotel room and they're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have the shower, the bed, constant contact with anybody if they need support. If they have family or friends that are negative in the community, they're allowed to like drop items off for them, clothing, food. It's just trying to make them feel like as normal as possible and not feel like they're like a disease.
Do they have to stay in their rooms, or do they chat with other people in the other rooms? Kind of thing?
No, so they stay in the rooms. Unless they're families, then we kind of connect them in rooms together. But we don't, essentially, they do end up sharing if they're families from the same household.
Yeah.
And we make sure that they're all cleared before they're all allowed to leave.
Oh, I see.
And then we just ask them if you want fresh air, you just got to step outside your front door, keep your mask on, make sure nobody else is on the balcony, and kind of like take turns that way. Like,
that
and
must
then
be
only
really stressful.
Yeah.
Just being in a room.
Sounds
for so long.
stressful.
and then only the nurses are allowed to go up into the room with protective gear. And, even when they go up there, they would check them just at the doorway, like not cross the threshold, take their vitals, see how they're doing. They check their symptoms, and then we, the behavioral health, social workers, we follow up, do they have any appointments that they were planning on going to that they need to reschedule, if they have any medical needs, medication needs, if they we ask them if they are using any substances, because again, that would be a reason why somebody would leave against medical advice.
Yeah.
If they're an alcoholic, we don't serve alcohol, so we gotta help them stay there. And I know it's in the news where people are upset that like the city's providing like drugs, needles, and alcohol, and it was kind of like exaggerated in the public. But it's like, yeah, imagine you're addicted to something, and you're being isolated for a bigger reason, and then in order for us to help you stay there and be safe to yourself and for everybody else, we gotta give you not an incentive, but just something to help you, pass the time or stay there at the hotel.
Yeah.
Just taking away the reasons for leaving, basically.
Yeah. But it's not like a free for all. Like, we're gonna give you everything you ask for. No, that's not at all. Yeah. And then there are people that don't have any issues, no concerns, no needs, but they're just like, oh, F this, like, I don't want to stay here, and we do our best to talk them into like staying and be like, no, you're gonna expose your friends, your family, and we still get people that are like, they don't care. But I think that was like the first month was really hectic, but now it's like a lot better.
Yeah.
People are more understanding. We don't have any issues really of people trying to get out of the hotel rooms and leave without us knowing. We just open the communication for them, and we're there to support them.
Are you fully? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Miguel.
No, you can go ahead.
Are you fully like covered? Like, what do you wear when you go to see them, type of thing?
Yeah. So I was deployed in April for a month, and then I went back to my clinic, and then now it's deployed again. So I'm deployed till the end of this month.
Oh, I see.
So luckily at these sites, it's only the nurses that do the face-to-face interactions. And they have like scrubs, like gowns, disposable gowns, face shields, masks, gloves, But us, we're in the front desk. So our contact is just via phone. So we call up to the room, check in with them, and they call down to us. So essentially, I'm really safe compared to my clinic. Okay. Every once in a while, I do have face-to-face interactions with them, but it's outdoors. It's like outside the lobby. So there's fresh air, it's open space, and I usually do that when I need to assist with translation for the nurses. Or sometimes, if somebody's trying to leave the hotel, security will stop them, and then I go out there and try to like just talk to them. Just figure out why they're leaving, what do they need. Again, just making sure they don't leave the premises and potentially expose others.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you have to wash your clothes all the time?
Not as much now. I think what helped is working on site with nurses. So like the first month, I was just picking their brains, like, how diligently do I have to wash my clothes? I have to like take everything off, not touch this, not touch that. And essentially the only ones that really have to do all that are the first responders that are within like 2 feet in contact with somebody, medics, doctors, nurses. They're the ones that have to be super protective and diligent about, taking off their clothes before they enter the house, doing all those steps to prevent the spread. But with myself, since I'm not that exposed, I'm in a safe bubble, I still maintain all the basic practices, wearing a mask all the time, washing our hands, sanitizer, maintaining social distance. So it's a little, it's not as stressful anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was more just the unknown when it first came out. So you were just, being overly cautious like I think a lot of people were. And now it's kind of, seems like people have a better grasp and are less afraid, maybe. No,
totally. It's just more information's come out, So it's like, essentially, as long as you're not breathing the same air, if, now we have the space to like go outside and interact with people while wearing a mask, And I think it just gets weird because it's like wearing masks. It's not saying you're positive or like, stay away from me, but it's just like we all accidentally spit while we talk.
Yeah.
I know I've had so many conversations with friends where we're laughing and then like I see the spit come and smack and I'm like, I don't say anything, It's just like it happens.
Or the
Yeah.
first time you sneeze in your mask and you're just like, wow, it's really wet. Like
You've sneezed in your mask?
by mistake. Like you're
No,
not
it
used to
happens.
having it. Yeah.
And it's weird. You're not going to take something off to cover like sneezing terrible or a cough when you already have that. But it is weird. It's like, ew.
I have to admit, I went to spit and I forgot I had my mask on.
Your mask on?
Oh no! Why
Yeah.
did I do that?
I did that too.
Because when I wash my hands, like I do a little spit and I
Yeah.
forgot I have my mask on. Yeah. Man. I have to admit, like when it first was going on, we're just like, just it felt like just month after month was going on, and the longer the lockdown, we're just like, man, how long are we gonna be like this? And now
I
it's like
know.
kind of the new normal. Like I'm just
Yeah.
expecting that it's just gonna be throughout the whole year.
Like, I was talking with somebody, one of my coworkers, you know, because we're there and we just have some downtime, we chat about stuff. And I was like, and we get to watch the news. So we're, you know, watching daytime news, which is like, you know, if you work, you hardly ever get to see that.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, it's like, I wonder if we could all, society could go back to normal if everybody just wore a mask all the time in public. And, you know, just maintain...
Like concerts and everything.
Yeah, and just maintain basic hygiene, washing your hands, which we already know so many people that don't, you know. Men, they go into the restroom, take a leak, come out without washing their hands, you know. Women, too.
Humans are dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a little dirty myself. It sounds so wrong.
Yeah, no, it made everybody more of a germaphobe, definitely, I feel like.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you were describing what you do, I was like, this sounds like a social work background. So you're basically a social worker.
Yeah, so I'm not a licensed social worker. So my title is I'm a health worker with the city. But I have work experience within the, you know, I used to work at a senior center. So I worked with the elderly who had dementia, Alzheimer's, different mental diagnoses. And then when I got into the city, working at a mental health clinic, everything just felt normal. I'm like, oh, I'm used to this, you know? And it's essentially, I'm used to working with all walks of life and treating them as equal as I am, you know, or I like to be treated. And so I think that's why for me it's easy to work in this field. You know, I don't see them beneath me. You know, I'm just like, oh, they're just somebody who's struggling, and I'm here and able to give them support that they need to have a, you know, a happy life or a better quality of life than what they did have before.
Yeah.
And I work hand in hand with social workers. And I mean, my first boss was like pleading me to go to social worker school, but I don't want to get into debt. I'm like, nah, I think I'm good, and I'll make okay money in my position, and yeah, so I provide support to all the social workers.
Yeah,
you know,
the reason why I said that is because my girlfriend actually just graduated with her master's in social work.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was like, this sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
So what is like the definition of a social worker? Like what exactly do they do? Their job description?
Yeah. So it's either called like a social worker. You might hear the term case manager. That's
Okay.
another term. So it's just an individual who advocates for those in need. You know, so if you have somebody who has a mental diagnosis, say they're schizophrenic, or they have schizophrenia, you know, and say they've symptoms just came up, they were diagnosed, they've never been on any medications, the family has no idea what it means, what it is, how to work with them, you know, so they'll come to a clinic like where I work and go through an intake process. So they'll be assessed by a licensed social worker to see what their needs are. Then we have like a psychiatrist and a pharmacy. So they prescribe the appropriate medications for them to help them help control their symptoms. You know, they're you know, with different diagnoses. I mean, people, they can't function as we do in society. They can't like hold a job. They can't maintain healthy relationships. They can't maintain stable housing, you know? So essentially that's where you see a lot of these people on the street with a mental illness. You know, they were somebody at some point, probably successful, doing well, but this mental diagnosis hit them and they had no support. nobody that could help guide them, connect them with services, and so essentially just like their life deteriorates. You know, so I do work with a lot of people from the street, you know, that are homeless, and we try to get them into stable housing. There's boarding cares, but those are shutting down in the city, so it's making it more challenging. Essentially, like a lot of the hotels, that's where a lot of our clients live at. But it's like there's no support. So essentially, they just rent out a room, and on that floor, there's like a shared bathroom. You know, so imagine you go to a hotel room, like you're living in a hotel room, all you have is like a small twin bed, hopefully a sink, and you go down the hall to use the toilet and take a shower. You know, and then the room is like, it's tiny, you know, it's like maybe 10 by 10, and that's your life. That's all you have. You know, and then also a lot of the people in these communities, you know, they still self-medicate, use substances, and so that doesn't help. That's another challenge that we also have to overcome with them.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these people, the reason they self-medicate, it's say when do you get hit with schizophrenia and you have no idea what it is, and say you smoked weed and weed helped you focus. Well, in your mind, you feel it helps you focus. So you just overdo it, just keep using weed. And then maybe your symptoms increase, so then you look for a harder drug to help you cope with the voices you hear, delusions or visuals, people you see that aren't really there. So that's what essentially self-medicating is. You know, and so when we get these individuals, we try to get them on prescribed medications by doctors, medications that's supposed to help combat these delusions, voices, and at the same time, it's not just like we give them a drug and like, this is going to cure you. No, we work with them, we coach them, because at the same time, I think what helps is treating them normal. And so if, say, I'm with a client and he's talking to somebody, you know, I'll be like, oh, who are you talking to? Or, you know, so addressing that person's not there, but acknowledging that they are seeing somebody, you know. And I think that just soothes them. Because like, okay, then they're like, they can feel like I'm not crazy. This person understands me. They get that. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Definitely.
You know, and when it comes to if they've self-medicated, we just try to be a positive role model and coach them and be like, hey.
Don't make them feel bad.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's
Makes
normal.
them do more like, why are you doing this?
No, totally. And then they'll go against you and they'll just be like, F this noise. Like, I don't want to be controlled. I'm going to do my own thing and
you don't understand
mess shit
me.
up. Yeah. And so we just help them with cutting back. So say if I have an individual who smokes weed pretty much 24/7, you know, and that's supposed to help him control symptoms, but it's counteracting the medications we give them, or just making them not productive. You know, they just want to stay in bed all day. So it's just like, well, no, you know, what are your goals in life? And you say they want to get a job. It's like, okay, well, we got to start little by little. Maybe don't smoke all day every day. Maybe smoke for a certain amount of time and then stop. Give yourself a break. And so, you know, we can't expect these individuals to cut everything cold turkey and straighten up. You know, we can't do that. So I can't imagine them with no support system to do that.
Yeah, I know what happens when you smoke too much. Just like you gotta have it for like you're gonna eat, you gotta smoke, you gotta watch a movie. Oh man, it's a good time to smoke. It's fun when you're with a group of people, you know.
Yeah,
but
totally.
like when you're just doing it daily, I think you use it as an excuse to just like escape. I actually had to stop. When we started the podcast, I took like, what was it, a month off, and I just stopped. Stopped doing it.
So you never went back?
No. I was just like, I'm doing pretty good without it. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. But I think just being around a lot of jiu-jitsu people made me want to smoke.
Yeah, I do it, but like mainly like when I'm at home.
Yeah.
I can't do the whole smoke and drive or be out and about with people. I'm all just things get too intense for me, and I'm just like I'm open to like a lot of energy.
Yeah, you can feel energy when you're out and about and you're smoking.
Yeah.
Just too much sounds going on. I think I remember I was like at a bar and then decided to smoke outside. And I came back and I felt so like,
weird, right?
Insecure and like I hear everything.
I'm like, Yeah, I can't do that. I don't know how people do it. I just get so like hypersensitive and
But it depends on who you're used to doing it with. Like we did like the UFC nights at your place, Oscar.
Yeah,
And
and
I
like
was
that's
like-
the show.
I was like, oh yeah, I know this crew. Like I'm not gonna feel like insecure or anything because I'm around you guys all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, Oscar threw a lot of cool UFC parties. Pretty fun.
yeah, we
Nice.
just yeah. I can't
Not
wait
really
to like
party, but just a little get together. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is cool.
watch the
Yeah.
fights. Nice.
I was gonna ask you, what are events like now? Because I haven't been even keeping up like UFC now.
It's weird because I swear UFC has like an event every week. Like
with
I
like
can't
no
even.
with no audience. Just
Yeah, it's actually it's really cool actually. At first it was weird, but then you actually can appreciate the fights more.
and you
'cause you don't
hear
have-
you hear
yeah.
like you hear the smacking and whatever.
Oh man, that's the best. Like hearing like the hits, it's just like ooh, and then like
Oh,
you can hear the coaching, the commentating.
Oh, coaching sounds cool.
Yeah, you hear the breathing when they throw in punches. It's just
Oh,
it's
how
really
much
cool.
energy is being exerted.
Yeah,
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
and then I always wonder if it like messes with their heads because they're not coming out to like a roaring crowd in support.
Yeah.
You know, they come out with like their music and it's like nobody's cheering them on.
Or like
You know?
you land a nice punch, right? And the crowd like kind of goes, ah! And you're like, hell yeah, I'm on fire right now.
Yeah, you don't have that energy from the crowd anymore. I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of like when they were doing like the Ultimate Fighter, right? Same thing, no audience, and yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like in the gym.
Yeah,
No-
and then
no.
Oh, you
I
mean
remember
the
Ultimate
TV
Fighter.
show?
Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing. Like they didn't have crowds, I think, until maybe the finale or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But remember that was weird because you see like UFC events and then seeing these little venues, but now it's like a norm and it's actually I enjoy it. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know, especially like the DC fight, DC and Michioch,
Was that
Stipe.
Was that a recent one?
Yeah, it was a heavyweight the title fight. So
Without a crowd and everything.
yeah. So
Oh.
that was really interesting. It's like the heavyweights fighting and just it was very strategic. It's like eerily silent, you know, the coaches aren't trying to be too loud so the other side doesn't hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Punch low. Who won that one?
Stipe.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. I think it was might have been unanimous, but I think it might have been
Oh,
like 2-1 round maybe, or I mean a 3-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they both eye poked each other. But
What?
I think Cormier got the worst of it.
You're talking about separate times or like they both?
Yeah, not the same time. So like, I think Cormier poked Stipe first, and then he
Okay.
paused it, the reset, and they were fighting. And later in the fight, Stipe poked Cormier by accident.
Yeah.
And then Cormier's trying to run, I think, and trying to say he got his eye poked, but I don't think the ref stopped it because he didn't see it.
Oh.
And then he slowed it, and it was gnarly. Like, ugh.
Are they known for doing that?
No, I don't think
pretty
so.
accident? Because was
Yeah.
it John Jones is the eye
He's
poker
the king
guy?
of that, yeah. But no, not them. And I think that's why they were just like, everybody knew it was accidental.
Yeah. Not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. I was gonna ask you about people secretly inviting you to do like some jiu-jitsu. Did you get that by any chance?
Yeah, I was asked by somebody, and then, but they were taking all this very serious,
Yeah.
COVID. So it was essentially like training privately with like a select number of people
Yeah.
in an outdoor setting.
Okay.
And I did appreciate it. The fact that they're taking all the precautions and they're like very open in the communication and, sharing who they were in contact with and expecting that from myself as well. So I was open to it. But my big concern too is I'm still working with the public. And so, I expressed that and shared, exactly what I do to protect myself. So as much as I want to, I still feel nervous because I don't want to unintentionally pass it on, not knowing.
Yeah.
I mean, right now the only person I see is my wife, and she just works from home, so she like never leaves. Only on the
Yeah.
weekends when we do run errands.
Yeah. Are you guys practicing together?
No, we're doing like the cardio class for a while until that ended, and then we just started doing yoga.
Oh, that's good.
And
Substitute.
that actually has helped us a lot, like heal our bodies. We're not in pain anymore.
Nice.
And so, but now we hit a point where like, do we want to go back to jiu-jitsu or
get
just
pain?
not? Yeah.
My pain went away too, man.
Yeah.
I had a shoulder issue. Like I was like, but then just been lifting weights, but then it started getting better. Just like,
Nice.
maybe because I'm always like constrained or something, and my body knows to like stay in that position.
Yeah.
I see your
Yeah.
cat. Hey,
Oh, that's Bruno.
what's up, Bruno?
Do you train Miguel?
No, not really. I
Okay.
used to when I was younger, but kind of fell out of doing that. Like I did it when I was through middle school. Well, Japanese
nice.
jiu-jitsu.
Oh, cool.
And
He's
then
a
I
high school wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrestled in high school, and after high school, I kind of haven't done much.
Yeah. That's
Oscar
all
came
good.
from a wrestling background.
Yeah. I wrestled in high school too, and then some college, and then took a break. Well, not that I wanted to, I just couldn't afford jiu-jitsu. And then finally when I could, then I just like jumped into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did you start? Like which gym? Because I
I
swear I was in Ralph Gracie for at least a year, and then I saw you guys.
So yeah, so I started in SoCal before I moved up to the Bay back in '06. My friend was teaching, and he's actually Michael Bisping's jiu-jitsu coach. Well, Michael Bisping was still in the UFC.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we went to high school together. He's a year older, so he had a gym, or he was teaching at a gym, so that's why I started. But I only had like about 8 months of training, and then I moved up here. And then up here, finally, I think back in 2013, I joined 10 Planet because I always wanted to do 10 Planet. And then I knew they had the school up here, so I signed up, and that's where I really learned jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
Oscar would teach me like stuff they wouldn't teach at like Ralph Gracie. It's
Oh yeah.
Because it's like a different. It's very different. Like nogi related stuff.
Yeah, so we don't, you don't wear the kimono or the pants. And I wanted to get into no-gi because I was used to wrestling, so not holding on to clothes, so it felt natural. And then my wife slowly got me into doing jiu-jitsu with a gi. And so I got better at it just with the grips and now having more things to grab onto. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I like nogi.
yeah,
You prefer
no-gi's fun.
no-gi? Yeah, I was gonna ask, which do you prefer?
At the beginning, I liked no-gi a lot, but once I started doing gi, I really started appreciating it. And I think I wouldn't have enjoyed gi if I didn't start with no-gi first. Because I feel like with no-gi, I got the base of jiu-jitsu. And then in gi, just like learning even more, but having the fundamentals to advance pretty well in gi.
Yeah. You're so
know, so-
slippery with nogi. So like when you have the gi, you forget that I can't escape. Like they got me tight.
Yeah.
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 But no, I like both now. It's just fun mixing it up.
I felt like our nogi squad was pretty tight. Like
Yeah.
our Wednesday nogi. I kind of miss it. Tony.
I know it was good. Get a lot of good black belts joining the class too, so that was always fun getting to roll with a few of them.
Yeah. I think my greatest fear too is like, do I still remember everything? Because it's been so long. Oh man. Like
Rusty.
of course, like like the arm bars, triangles. I feel like if I were to do it right now, I'd get it. Just transition type of stuff.
Yeah.
And, like
I'm just worried about my cardio.
oh yeah. I think my cardio's all right. I mean, I've been keeping up. I thought after 3 months I'd be like ready to get back in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask if you're how's it in Hawaii? Are you quarantined? Are you outdoors? Are you isolating
so
a lot?
We had a stay-at-home order that ended in like June, and then about 2 weeks ago they instituted another stay-at-home order. which was supposed to last 2 weeks, and then they just extended it another 2 weeks. But now people are allowed to go to the beach and go to the parks and go on hikes.
They caved?
By themselves. You have to be by yourself, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's a weird
It's like
sort
this
of
back and forth, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of, but it's funny because you're always told not to like go hiking by yourself or not to like go in the ocean by yourself. Yeah, it's like it's kind of counterintuitive on like you're being safe, avoiding COVID, but then you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation, possibly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not even couples, like your wife or something?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you live with somebody. You have, like, I guess you could both go to the beach, but then you can't sit. You can't sit together, so you'd have to be like 6 feet apart or something.
What?
Yeah.
Even if you guys live together?
Yeah, I know.
Alright.
It's so.
Really? Oh, whoa.
It's funny because it was issued by, I think, our mayor and backed up by our governor. But then our lieutenant governor, who's a surgeon, was like, I don't know, expressing his feelings that they should amend it and allow households to do these activities together.
Yeah. Are tourists still going to Hawaii? Is the numbers, are they cut down? Or is that just like normal?
Huh? Don't they lock it down?
There's a 14-day quarantine, but people are still allowed to come.
Oh.
So, I mean, people would come and supposed to be quarantined, but then break quarantine, and so that was kind of a problem.
Uh-oh.
And
Yeah.
I feel like it's still a problem because people are still flying in. So
Bummer.
Well, you think 14 days will go quick, but then if you're in a hotel room, I don't know. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
You get all
Yeah.
antsy.
yeah, definitely. So I don't know. I feel like it's just now's not the time to go on vacation. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So is haircuts a thing in your side, Richmond? Like, do you see haircut salons like with tents outside?
I haven't. I actually saw some, not hair salons, I think up in Napa. I actually saw nail salons doing everything outdoors on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was like,
kinda weird, right?
cool. Yeah, but it was cool because they had like their table and then they had like the sneeze guard. And so they both had their mask on and they just had like the little opening and their hands through there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, okay, it's outdoors, it's cool, it's a nice day. So yeah.
Have you heard of Santana Row?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't been there.
We've been there Saturday for like Janice's birthday. We ate outdoor over there.
Nice.
But then it was just really interesting because like they close off half the street, so like Yard House can like have outdoor tables where people can have their huge drinks and hair like the nail thing, like you said.
Yeah.
Same thing with the guard and whatnot. But I was just like so surprised that like, oh, maybe I can get a haircut.
Yeah.
Because I've been telling Miguel I haven't been able to get one. But I just have to find the time to go outside, and hopefully it's not smoky and orange to get a haircut.
I know. I know there's a brewery up the street from us, which is cool. So at the beginning, they just had to-go beers.
Are they doing outdoor now?
Now, yeah, because they've always had like an outdoor area that they finished building, and then COVID hit. And we were bummed out that they were going to go out of business. But, you know, the people in the community love that brewery. Everybody that works there is really cool, and it's tiny. And so we go, and then now they have the outdoor seating. And, you know, they have so many rules, but they're fine. They're easy to follow. It's just you can go there only with your household, you know, and everybody's spaced out. You know, they have blocked off areas to make sure people have their space. And, you know, so when you sit down, you have to keep your mask on. You can only take it off once your beers get to your table, you know. And then even now, recently we went, and now they're not even bringing the beers to the table. Now you just go to, like, the window. So it's cool. It's just safer for the employees, you know. And then they just ask you to bust your own stuff. And so it's still cool. The vibe's cool.
Yeah.
But they still deal with assholes that show up with no mask demanding service.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had to kick them out. And so every time we've gone, we you know, the
There's always
bartender's
a
talking
new
to
asshole.
us. Yeah. And he's like, we're like, how's it going? He's like, good. He's all, I just had to kick out some dude for blah, blah, blah. And we're like, when? He's like, 5 minutes ago. And Rhonda and I are always like, why aren't we here?
I want to witness this. Get,
Yeah,
the popcorn out, you know?
I like see all these videos on YouTube of people getting all mad at these businesses, and I'm like, dude, that's always been a thing. Businesses have the right to refuse service to anybody.
Yeah.
So like,
It's right there on the side. Yeah.
it's like, what is it? No shoes, no shirt. Now
No
no
service.
mask. Yeah, now
Yeah.
no mask.
Yeah. No slippers in Hawaii or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Janice still want to hang out with you, Oscar.
No, totally.
yeah.
Like I said, we're down.
Yeah, we had plans this month.
Yeah.
But, like, so much crap has been going on.
I know. It's just crazy.
But yeah, once the orange goes away, I'm down.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to get tested again. I did the testing. So I just want to do it just to be safe. It's being offered to the city employees
Okay.
since we're working.
Would you want us to get tested, so just to be extra safe?
No, I mean, if you guys have been like self-isolating, I trust you at your word,
Yeah.
So if you feel safe that you've been doing the precautions you need to for yourself, I trust you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a touchy
Yeah.
subject. Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
So you got all quiet there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no,
No, it's weird because it's almost like consenting to like sex. It's like who have you been around?
Yeah.
Who have you talked to?
Yeah. Is it okay if I hold your hand? You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rhonda is Oscar's wife, and when I met them, I was like, man, they're a really cool couple. Like,
Thanks, man.
I was really like drawn to their energy because, like, I have this like sense that I can feel like when people are easy to talk to, and whatnot. And I was like, this guy's easy to talk to. I was like, I would always go to him like for like, hey, am I doing this move alright? And he's always so helpful. And even Rhonda, like, I think she was teaching me like ducking under, doing like a Muay Thai thing. She's like,
Yeah.
keep your eyes up. Don't put your head down. You're gonna get knocked out. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's badass. Yeah, no, we enjoy it. I mean,
And Janice loves Rhonda too.
yeah.
Yeah. Rhonda commissioned me to do an art piece too. That was really nice of her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind
it
of-
came out awesome. Yeah, go for it.
Oh no, it's
yeah.
just if you look on my Instagram, it's like one of the I don't have to show it right now.
My brother-in-law, Rhonda wanted to make something for her brother and her sister-in-law as a gift, and so we love Nate's like little doodles and drawings that he does. So she picked out 2 photos, each of them with our niece, and yeah, he did them and they came out amazing. The coolest one was Michael, my brother-in-law, and our niece. And you even got his sleeve, his tattooed
I tried
sleeve.
my best with the sleeve.
No, it was.
I
dope.
tried
It's
to
just-
like be as simple as I could, but yeah.
No, but that again, that's like a little detail that like you pulled it off and it showed who he was,
Yeah.
like in a drawing. It was really cool.
I had fun working on it.
Nice.
So, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I know we're always telling each other like, why doesn't he work for Pixar, man? Like,
Aw,
your stuff's dope.
you can make me blush, man. You make me blush over here. So, you think when COVID's done, you want to start traveling places? You have anything lined up or anything that you think you want to go back to or anything like that?
Yeah, we want to go back to Tulum, down to the beach in Mexico. Because we 2 years ago when we went for the first time, we're like, oh, let's make this a yearly tradition. We'll go every October.
Yeah.
It's the end of the like busy season and it's mellow. So we went 2 years ago, last year, and then this year we're like bummed out that we're not going to be able to go.
Oh.
And then
And you had
we're-
plans? You had plans for it too? Bought
We
tickets or
did.
anything?
No,
Oh.
because COVID hit so early.
Oh, okay.
And we're just like, oh, we don't know how long this is going to last. And then, whatever rules are implemented in Mexico, because I think for a while they weren't allowing any non-Mexican citizens to travel over there, just to keep the numbers down. Tulum was like shut down. Like they would open up and then shut down because cases would, shoot up again. And, and they don't have the resources that we have here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the main thing for us, our trip, fine, whatever. But we're just like hoping that at least like the one hotel that we like staying at, we hope that the employees have work and they're able to still have a livelihood.
What's the hotel called?
Via Pescadores.
I was gonna type that, but I don't even know how to type that.
So it's like it essentially was built for like a fisherman. So it's a little fishing beach. So when you go there, you see all the boats on the sand, and early in the morning, like 5:30, all the workers come. They take the boats out and they go and they actually fish. And then there's other boats that are there in the water, and they're like the tours. They take people swimming with like sea turtles and to go see the coral reefs and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just awesome. Like you just watch them get ready and how they just like maneuver on the boat. You see them like it looks like little 12-year-old kids, with a big old 5-gallon jug of gasoline, like jumping in the water, swimming, hopping on the boat, filling it up while everything's all rocky and waving. It's cool. It's beautiful.
Nice. And are you from there, or I mean, is it or are you from like raised in California?
So I was born in California, and then as soon as I was born, my family took me back down to Mexico. So my parents were from Jalisco, down by Guadalajara. And so I lived there for my first 3 years. And then we came up here, and then my mom was pregnant with my sister. So she had my sister here, and then I didn't go back. I didn't go back until I think I was 6 or 7. Then I would go spend the summers with my dad down in Mexico in our hometown.
So
I did that.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I had English is my second language. I grew up speaking Spanish first.
Wow.
And then
seems like you have.
Yeah, never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Seems
and
like you have two first languages because they sound amazing.
Thanks.
Like you're saying it like with this accent. It's like, man, that sounds really cool. I'm not even gonna attempt it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
So I did that up until high school, because then I got into sports, and then the summers were dedicated to like football, and so then I went less frequent. But pretty much, I grew up speaking Spanish. My dad only speaks Spanish. My grandparents only speak Spanish. My mom was the one that like helped teach me English. And then I grew up in the house where it's like you don't speak English in the house, or when I go to Mexico, you don't speak English. That's rude.
I mean, when we went to the UFC thing for you, like your dad was there, or was your mom there too?
No, that was my dad.
Was it just your dad? Your mom wasn't there?
No, they both separated and then remarried.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think you were just talking to him, like, I guess he didn't know how to speak English? Or...
So he knows a lot more than he leads on to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, once he was visiting, and I went to go run an errand, and Rhonda stayed. And then I came back, and Rhonda's like, your dad speaks English. And I was like, what? She's like,
he just embarrassed?
Yeah. I think he's just embarrassed.
Self-conscious or something?
Yeah. He's not he's self-conscious, not confident, but he understands a lot of English. He can speak it because, he has his bosses that speak English to him.
Oh.
But I remember, growing up, even as an adult, where I go to his house and he has his notepad of different words that he'd practice in English, like writing them. And there's a few times like, how do you spell this word? Like he tried to say it in English, and I kind of help pronunciation and then write it down. But his English is like self-taught just from working in the States and stuff, and he works in construction.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is he still in California right now?
He's actually visiting my uncle up in North Carolina.
Oh.
So they did like a family trip, so it's all family. And then they're just luckily my uncle has a huge house, so they're all just at that house.
I'm guessing he drove.
I think that I don't know. I didn't ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he might have driven. I wouldn't doubt it. My dad's all about driving cross country.
It's a long drive.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like just with planes, I would imagine you wouldn't want to be on a plane or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, totally. But I think probably because of his age, he'd probably fly now.
Oh yeah.
But no, man, he's a driver. When we're little and go to Mexico, we would drive from Santa Ana down to our town in Jalisco, and it'd be back then it was like a 3-day drive, like nonstop. Yeah, and that was before they built the toll roads. So once they built the toll roads, then it got safer and they were smooth, direct, maintained, and so now we can get down there like in 24 hours.
Oh wow!
Dang, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
huge difference.
Big time. I remember growing up in just so many sketchy situations trying to get down there.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to say any? I'm kind of curious.
What kind of stuff?
So those old roads still exist. So there's the toll roads and then la carretera libre, like the free highway, like the back roads, and those are the ones that just full of potholes, super windy. You pass through tiny little towns.
They try to stop you.
know.
Hey, let me wash your windows or something.
No, yeah. You get through cities and towns, and there's kids, they just
Mind my
jump on your
fruit.
hood and start washing your windows, and it's like, okay, you got to tip them,
Oh man.
So it got to a point where my dad's like, oh, we got to go through this town, but we're going to go this way. So we avoid all the, having your windows cleaned like 5 times within 15 miles,
Wow.
And then, so back then it was like annoying, but as I got older, I'm like, well, these are people that are like struggling. They're poor, poor cities. And so now I'm just like, here, like, that's one thing Ron and I talked about when we go to Tulum and we went into town to like buy some items. And normally people, it's common where Americans will go down to Mexico and buy stuff at discount or they haggle with them. But we just thought of it, it's like, whatever, like, we're lucky enough to live where we are, make what we make, live how we live, So when we're down there, it's like, if they want to charge me $20 for a $10 item, I don't care. Like, they need it more than I do. And I'm not there to rip somebody else off so I can get something cheap, while I make like 10 times what they make. Because my aunt, she used to be a seamstress. And I remember once I asked him, like, how much do you make, like, making dresses, like, down in our town?
Yeah.
And then I think at the time, I was, like, maybe 10 years old. And she said she made $20. And then $20 a week. That's what she lived on.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So and then so it's like back then it's like, oh, it's enough for her to have a decent life along with my uncle working and, the family's all together. But up here it's like $20 a week as an adult. That's your profession. Like, and she makes beautiful dresses.
Yeah.
Handmade. It's just crazy. Things that like Americans take for granted that these people have been doing for generations. My whole family, they're all farmers. It sucks because I wish I had that in me. I wish I grew up in it. I wish I farmed with my dad. Because but that's not what my dad wanted. He wanted me to get an education, do something else, not farm. He said it's a hard life. But when I go down there and I see my dad and my uncles all talk about the land, what's growing, it's just like amazing. It's just like, it's just in them. They can look at a stalk of like corn and tell you how old it is. If it's ready, if it's not ready, they pick up the soil and be like, oh yeah, the soil's good. It's not, it's bad. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. I like your perspective though.
Yeah, thanks.
Like,
The craziest one, I like telling this one to people because it's like, my uncles, they had their pickup truck. And so they were working on it, and I went down to talk to them. And I was like, oh, what are you guys doing? He's like, oh, it's misfiring, so we got to figure out what's wrong with it. So we're going to take apart the engine. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh, so do you have a manual? And they're like, no. And I'm like, so how are you going to do it? And he's like,
figure it
oh,
out.
we'll just...
What do you
we'll
need
just
a manual for?
Exactly. He says, oh, we'll just take it apart, lay it down on the floor in the order that we take it apart, and then put it back. And I just kind of scoffed. I'm like, oh, whatever. So I went back to my dad's house. A few hours later, I came back down, and no shit, the entire engine was out. It was laid out on the driveway in pieces. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he picks up the piece, and he's like, this is it. It was like an O-ring on one of the pistons. And he showed it to me. It's like super burnt and worn out. And I'm like, okay, so what's next? And then meanwhile, he's telling me this. There's a storm coming. And down there, the storms are crazy. And then he's like, we know what part it is, so we'll just go into the next town, which is a 45-minute drive away. It's the next biggest city, where they'll have the auto shop that they can buy that piece. And I'm like, okay, so you're just going to cover all the parts because the storm's coming? And he's like, no, we're going to put it together. And I was like, okay. And he fucking did. fired up, and then the rain started coming down. And then
snap.
so I said, oh, so when you come back, you're going to have to take everything apart? And he's like, no. He's like, now that we know where the piece is, we just have to take apart the parts of the engine to get to this one piston. And I was like, holy shit. And on their own, no manual. They never went to auto mechanic school. It's just like, that to me is impressive.
Yeah, just figuring it out, just not being afraid to fail. Just like,
Yeah.
all right, just we'll figure it out. Yeah,
No, totally.
I like that story.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
being meticulous and just paying attention to the details. That's it's impressive.
No,
Yeah.
totally, you know.
Like
These are all-
my wireless mouse just broke on
Yeah.
my thing, and I'm just like, piece of crap, just throw it away. Like, I'm not gonna open it up. Like, why is this thing not working? Like, did the battery, like, should I replace this battery? Like, no, I just want to throw it away. Like, I don't even want to deal with it.
Well, yeah,
And
because
then-
like I feel like even if you found what was broken,
How am I
like,
gonna
it'd
find
be
them?
yeah, where are you gonna get that little broken piece?
And that's the thing. Things aren't made to be worked on anymore, which sucks.
Unless like 3D scanning is just like in every household where it's like, well,
Right, yeah.
I can make this piece, no
Re-
problem.
replicate that little piece.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a nice story. I like it.
Thanks.
You mind telling us how you and Rhonda met? Was it like through a gym? Like, is that how
Nah.
you guys met?
It's actually on Tinder.
What?
Oh,
Yeah.
Tinder?
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys were together longer. I mean, because
Yeah.
Tinder's like fairly new.
That's, yeah, it was back in like 2014.
Okay,
Wow.
so
I had seen her. So back then, when I was going like on dating sites, I would like go on it for like a month, not have any success, and be like, F this noise, and I delete it. And then be like, I'm just gonna do my own thing. And then later it's like, oh man, like I want to go out with a girl, so I would get on the dating site
yeah,
and just try to meet somebody because it's always hard to meet in person, which is annoying. And then then Tinder came, and then everybody always said, you know, Tinder's like a hookup app, blah blah blah. But the way I perceived it was like, no, it's kind of like meeting somebody at a bar. I don't have to fill out a whole bio. It's just a few photos, a little one-liner or whatever. It's equivalent to seeing somebody at a bar. You see them, you don't know anything about them, you don't even know their name, but you go up there and talk to them, strike up a conversation.
You're
And
pretty
so
good.
that's how, that's
The-
how I saw Tinder.
yeah. I feel like, and the upside with Tinder is, I mean, they're out there, so they're looking too.
Yeah,
out there.
exactly. You know, you're not gonna get shut down
Yeah.
going up to a woman at a bar and she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend's here," or "I'm with my girlfriends," and you're just like, "All right, never mind."
Interesting.
Yeah. No. So I saw her on there. I swiped right on her, and then she never saw it. And then I got off it, got on it. She popped up again. I swiped right. Nothing happened. Got off it. Got back on.
Wait, you can swipe
Finally-
multiple times?
No, I like deleted my account. So like well, like I said, like I get I get frustrated or annoyed and be
okay.
like,
And
you know,
delete
get off
it.
the app.
You kept
Yeah,
like
yeah.
remembering her name, like Rhonda. I gotta remember her name. Yes.
No, because
Found
it's
her.
random. It's just
Oh,
random.
really?
It pops up. Yeah.
So
Tinder,
3 times you saw her randomly?
yeah. That was
Wow.
the trippiest part. And then so the third time I swiped right, and that time she matched. And then in
Oh.
her
She's like,
photos,
I'll give him a shot.
No, totally.
She must have been like, you swiped the first 2 times, but then by the time she swiped, you deleted it.
Screw this.
Yeah. But she actually almost said no because I did jujitsu.
Oh,
So she
really?
was like,
Oh.
yeah.
Wait, she had a thing like against jiu-jitsu people?
She's used to a lot, like at her gyms, she's used to like jiu-jitsu guys being like douchebags.
Really?
You know? Yeah. So she's
Because
like,
she was doing Muay Thai when you met her? Or what was she doing?
She's doing both. She started off in Muay Thai and then she got into jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay.
But at the gym she was at, the guys were just like really bro-y, douchey kind of guys.
So
you know, didn't
your
respect
perspective
women.
of jiu-jitsu is like douchebags, because I never thought that about jiu-jitsu people when I went in. Well, you have your crowd.
Yeah, but no, like I said, it's not everybody. It's just like the gym she was at.
Oh.
So it's just like the people she was around. And I think so. Yeah, and then I liked her because she had a photo of her with like an art photo, all her tattoos, I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then she had her jiu-jitsu photo. And so in my
That's
mind,
even
I'm
cooler.
like, yeah. But I was like, I want to ask her about her tattoos, but I'm like, I don't want to, then that sounds sleazy because I'm just looking at her naked body. Or like her, it was like a tasteful photo, like of her back. And
So
then I
I'll
was
ask
like,
her about jujitsu instead.
yeah, that's a safe route. I'll do jiu-jitsu. And then when I hit her up and asked her, where do you train? She like rolled her eyes. She's like, oh my God. But no, we just hit it off. And it was actually cool meeting somebody who I can actually just speak normal about jiu-jitsu and not have to simplify it or dumb it down.
I know what you're talking about. That move.
Yeah. And they're not bored. Which is, it's a huge interest. So when you meet somebody, you want to tell them about what you love or passionate about, and they have no interest in it. It's like, that's not really confidence building,
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, like, how long have you guys been together now?
We just celebrated our 4th wedding anniversary this August. Yeah.
Congrats.
Nice.
Thanks.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Online dating. It's awesome.
I know.
Yeah, dude, it's the future.
Miguel
present.
did the Bumble, right? Is that correct?
I was like on all the apps, but I met my girlfriend on Bumble.
Nice.
Kind of similar to Tinder, but once you match, the female has to send the first message.
Okay. Now it makes sense. I kept seeing all the memes about women posting about Bumble, so I didn't understand it, but now it makes sense.
Yeah.
They have the power.
Yeah.
But all the memes were them being bombarded with like messages or something like that.
Nice. I'm wondering how dating is now, like being all COVID and whatnot.
I feel like before they shut down the parks, I saw like what looked like possibly a first date at the park.
Really?
Yeah.
While I was
Tell us
having
more.
lunch one day.
Were they somewhat close to each other, or?
They came, separately. They were wearing masks, right? Because I was at a picnic table, and then they almost came and sat, at the table next to me. But I think they ultimately decided to go sit somewhere else.
Wait,
but
the work lunch?
it had the vibe of a first date.
Is this at work?
Yeah, while I was at work.
Oh man, this
But
is like
it had the
soap
vibe
opera drama.
of
You got your
of
sandwich.
first date. Yeah, I'm just like watching. They're both wearing masks, and it's like, oh hey,
Where's this gonna lead?
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know how I would handle having to date in this current climate.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go any further with a stranger? Like, is our bodies gonna meet in the future after a couple dates? Usually it's like 1 or 2 dates and you're like, let's get it on. But like, is that a thing now?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Humans got needs,
Yeah. So my sister, she was here with us for about a month, and then like she was doing like online dates, and so she would FaceTime with a date that she was talking to, and Rod and I were just like, that's kind of odd, like it's just weird, just like date only virtually.
So it's just like this, like what we're doing right now. That's the date.
But it
it's
used
just
to
like,
just be Yahoo Chat back in the day. ASL, and then then you just figure out if you like the person, and then you see them in person, and next thing you know, it's Rwanda or something.
What?
I think you were watching Napoleon Dynamite.
What are you talking about?
He was
La Fonda.
La Fonda. I'm sorry. Yeah, you meet up with the thing, and she's like, okay, that's how you look like. Nice.
Yeah.
So she would just have like FaceTime dates? Your sister?
Yeah, and it's just, it was just weird because we're, in our minds, we're just thinking like, well, we're still in a pandemic. Like, where do you think this is going to go? Like, it's also like the unknown. Like, are you ever going to actually get to meet this person if you do hit it off? And are
you going to feel safe when you do meet the person?
Yeah. And then I think for us, it just felt weird that in a time like this, that I don't know if I would necessarily put so much energy into try to date somebody during all this. Because I feel like there's other things I need to focus on, or like your self-care, mental health,
probably a lot
it's
of
cool.
lonely feeling people right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see
Because
that.
what would you do? Like go to a bar before, or you'd go to a club, and
Yeah.
now you can't do those things. So
I know.
yeah, it's kind of. I'm
I
sorry,
mean-
single people. It's really hard for you right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I'm
like
hoping
looking
that it.
back at, I think before this thing blew up, I don't know if you guys remember spring break in Florida and all those
Yeah.
co-eds that were just like, we're doing it, we don't care. Now it's like you can't even do that.
I know.
Yeah.
What were you
So
gonna say,
tricky.
Oscar?
I'm just hoping that maybe this actually brings like dating, it makes it enjoyable because people can actually have real conversations now, get to know each other, and it's not straight physical and that's it, and looking for the next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Deeper
I'm hopeful for
connection.
them. Yeah, hopefully they're actually able to actually make connections because they all, like you said, they all need it. They all need somebody to care about and care about them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it'll be
man.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you remember what happened the day the city like locked down for you? Like, where were you? Like, when you found the news or anything like that?
I think I was at home, but I still had to go into work, and
Yeah?
that was the weirdest part. Yeah, driving into the city is like empty, nobody on the road. It's the creepiest thing
town.
ever. Yeah,
Yeah, when we had our first day at home to work, we are just like, this is so weird. I'm working
Yeah.
and I'm home. And then I go outside, and then there's so much cars parked, and you're just like, everyone's inside right now.
I know.
It's so weird. And we'd always go to the park every day because for our insanity, for our sanity,
To
we
prevent
needed
insanity.
we needed to get some fresh air, get some sun on our skin.
Yeah,
And when we first started walking, there was like maybe like one like lady walking with us, like you know, like keeping our distance. Then maybe a couple weeks, there's like 3 or 4 people. Then after like 3 months, it's like everyone's outside because everyone's sick of being
Yeah.
inside. It's really crazy.
totally. I know here we're at the Richmond Marina. We were lucky because we had so much open space. You know, so like people in San Francisco, it sucked because there's not a lot of open space, and especially depending on how you live, you're just like on top of each other. So people
Yeah.
really just stayed indoors.
Yeah.
But here we're able to walk to the water. There's like parks, but then we became a destination spot. So we had people from other communities just coming and filling it up and flooding it.
Oh,
Really?
man.
And yeah, and it was like, we're cool with it, but they weren't practicing any social distancing, not wearing masks. And so it's just like, come on, guys, like, that's the whole point of this, is like, at least practice all that. But they weren't, and that was frustrating us because then we couldn't enjoy our community and go out for walks or ride our bikes.
Yeah.
Like we at one point we're on the path, and we were seriously like 20 feet off the path doing like a little workout, like push-ups, squats, sit-ups and stuff. And people would walk down this path having like all this space, but they would walk right towards us to walk past us. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why? Yeah.
Can't you see we're heavy breathing over here? I don't want to breathe on you.
It got to a point where Rhonda's almost going to start coughing out loud with her mask on when people
Oh,
are getting
man.
nearby. It's like, dude, yeah. And then they look at us weird, like we're in their space, and it's like, bitch, we're 20 feet away. You came to us.
I never
was
thought
annoying.
about coughing as a weapon. Like, get away from me.
That's
That's a great way to repel people.
Yeah,
Be a crazy
I've seen
person.
videos. Yeah, people like coughing. It is, dude. It's a new weapon.
I know.
I'm a little nervous catching Bart because I always caught Bart every time, like going to work, and then like I'm just like I don't even want to be on the Bart anymore.
I know. And I
Touching
don't
the
think
same
they're-
handles or sitting in the chairs that people were on. Nah.
Yeah. I know. Same with us. We stopped, and then a coworker, he has to take it, and he says it's not really improved. It's still gross. They still have the old trains, and so yeah, Bart's kind of annoying. It's just like all the money they make is just going to the upper ups that own it, but not actually going into the services It's really
You
weird.
would think they would upgrade everything.
Yeah.
At least have
I mean,
hand sanitizers everywhere, or I don't know.
Yeah. Or at least, yeah, like clean the BART trains. They're
Yeah.
empty enough now where somebody can go and spray them during the day. They don't have to
Mm-hmm.
wait till nighttime, you know?
Huh.
Like literally Christmas time, it would be like really packed. You could hear sniffling, people sneezing, and it was just like a normal thing just to be around
Yeah.
all those people.
Literally like face to face with people like this, all like shoulder to shoulder, cramming
my
each
nose
other.
is running. I have like a tissue. Like I have to sneeze. Sometimes I miss my shirt and then like, yeah, it gets kind of nasty.
That tight?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
like
man.
you're like this.
And then you have the train packed and people still shoving in before the doors close.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when it gets packed like that, people are like punks.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it's really packed, and then there's people trying to get in. Like, could you guys move over? And it's like,
Yeah.
it's already packed, man.
Just catch the next one.
The worst is summer when the AC is
yeah.
not working in the train, and then you're in there with everyone, and it's just a steamy, hot mess.
Oh man.
And then randomly, I would get trains that had the heater on, and so that's even worse.
Just during the summer?
Yeah, and so it's
I
like
didn't know
I don't know
heater
what's
is on. I thought it was
randomly.
just like no AC. That's all.
Yeah, and that's worse because just the smell sits in there,
Oof.
the funk. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy, dude. Yeah, I think I asked everything I needed to ask. Do you have anything you want to talk about, Miguel? You want to ask
Man,
him?
I feel like we touched on a lot of the stuff I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you want to ask us, Oscar?
No, just that. I mean, I'm hoping like the information I shared with what I do and what the city's doing is like helpful and informative. You know. 'Cause
Oh yeah, definitely.
I just see like the media showing it like the city's like wasting money on people, almost as if these people don't matter, and that's what bothers me. It's just like all these people matter, like, and I think that's people have selfishness has grown so much that people can't imagine themselves in that other person's shoes. You know,
Empathy.
like, yeah, it's simple. And again, when I go to my jobs, like, it's hard sometimes, you know, because I see people through their worst, you know, or homeless. And here I am after getting to come home in my own car. I have food in my fridge, you know, and it's my first year was tough.
Yeah.
Like, just being exposed to, you know, all these individuals that are struggling in life.
Yeah.
You know, and they're trying to do the best, make the best of it. And so the first year, it was hard for me to let that go, like come home and not think about them, you know. And so I was stressed the first year because it's kind of like I was feeling guilty for all my accomplishments or
what
was
you
given.
have.
Yeah.
And then you have people struggling. You're just like, dang.
Yeah. I mean, you can ask Rhonda. There's a few times where I came home and I was like, I can't sleep. I'm all, there's one client, he's sleeping on the street right now. Like, I worked with him today trying to get him into housing and I couldn't. And I had to end my day at 5 and just knowing I'm in bed and he's on the street and it's cold. And it's just like, it was hard to like, you know, build that barrier, like that safety bubble, but still, you know, having empathy and caring for them. You know, so that took me a year to develop that whole, you know, I got to protect myself, my energy, so that way I can help them to the fullest. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I
Because
think-
if you burn out, then you can't help them.
Yeah.
So you got to take care of yourself so you can take care of them.
Yeah, you really opened our eyes to, I guess, what you do, and especially what's going on in COVID. And
Cool.
yeah, I think this is the most informative podcast
Yeah.
we've had.
Yeah, definitely.
I felt like, wow, learning a lot here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always happy to, you know, share info, you know, it's just so people can better understand like what the city workers are doing, you know, where a lot of us are putting ourselves out in the line, you know, and it just sucks that now society's gone to a point where they don't appreciate all the hard workers actually out there in the thick of it, seeing what COVID is doing to people, you know.
Yeah.
You know, people are now reverting back to their pleasures, what they're missing out on. And this is, it hasn't even been a year. And it's just like, we can all, give up stuff for the greater good. It's like, and there's times where I get frustrated with all this, not being able to go visit friends, go outdoors, or go eat, but I just remind myself, I'm like, hey, I got a home, I got a job, thank God, I got, security, health insurance, these are little things, so almost daily, we're constantly just voicing it out to each other to just help us, continue having empathy and, not bitch about having a great life,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like just to be stable and employed in this time, it's like you're lucky.
Just the fact that
gotta
we
remember
have
that.
jobs. I'm lucky. Like my job was able to adapt and do everything like through at home. Because before COVID, they thought this could not have happened.
Yeah.
So now this is the new normal. Like our job's not going to go back to the office once COVID's done. They're like, I don't think we're going to be doing the same place. Yeah.
Not totally. I know for us too, because like my sister lost her job, my dad lost his job, my stepmom lost her job. So, and again, that's going like with the gym, with like continue to pay like gym dues. We did it for a little bit, and then we had to be like, no, because we have family that actually needs that money better, like more.
I did it for like 3 months, and then I just like, I'm sorry.
Because it's like it's not the same, and it's like I'm sorry,
I didn't do the Zoom because I was just like, I don't know, I didn't feel comfortable just learning through Zoom, like doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's not the same. You're paying the same price for like less quality. And it's just, if anything, it feels discounted. I see that working out better for everybody, because at least it's some income. People feel like they're giving, paying a fair price for what they're getting during these times.
Yeah.
But like if I lost my job, I don't think the gym would support me.
That's true.
And a lot of people are in that situation.
Yeah. I think, how are schools doing? Because are they closing down because of what's going on, or is their system doing okay? You know anyone in the school system right now?
Like schools, like for kids, or
yeah, or if you know any schools, kids, or teachers, if you know any, are dealing with this.
A lot of my coworkers, their kids, they're just doing online schooling.
Oh, okay.
I hear good and bad. I think it's very challenging for everybody, especially the teachers. It's hard enough for one teacher to maintain a class of 30 kids in person. Now, hey, 30 kids sit on your computers and listen to this lecture as I talk at you. And, it's just tough. And I do hear great stories about how there's these teachers that are being very creative in connecting with the students virtually. And it's just like props to them, Yeah. They're doing what the parents are complaining about.
Yeah.
I mean, you have parents complain about their 1 or 2 child they have in their home 24/7. It's like, how do you think your teacher feels having 30 of your kids every day?
Yeah. Wait, and they're complaining that they're seeing their kids. Like, your kid, like, they're gonna grow up. You're gonna feel sorry that you complained.
Yeah.
They're gonna be out of the house.
Get to spend all this time with your kids.
I know,
right?
So horrible.
Oh man. I was gonna ask you about the schools, and I totally blanked what I was gonna say next.
I've seen some schools do like I think Tent Planet, Daly City, they're holding like outdoor classes, like at a park. I've seen them. They'll do like yoga, or I think jiu-jitsu, but I don't believe it's actual like person to person. I think it's just like spaced and you drill all together. And I've seen the images, and they'll have like a mask, and they're maintaining distance, and they're just outdoors at a park space. So that's cool. They're being creative, and I see that. I'd be willing to pay for something like that.
So what is the gym being open next month? Is that all types of gyms, like even fitness gyms, or is this just like like I don't know what the specifications are for a gym?
Yeah. I have no idea. I haven't seen anything through my work, through like the city emails, because we always get updated on everything that's going on in regards to COVID. So I haven't seen anything about the gyms opening.
Yeah.
But it just seems counterintuitive to maintain 6 feet distance and then go into a enclosed room where sweat's involved, body fluids,
Yeah.
but then go back outside and put your mask on and stay 6 feet away.
Yeah. Yeah, over here they briefly opened the gyms after the first lockdown.
And they locked it again?
Yeah, well, because I think there was even like a cluster that came out of a gym. So, I mean, big surprise, right? That
that's
it
my
would come out of a
worry.
gym.
That, yeah, they opened, but then after a week, they're just like, sorry, this is not working, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get your hopes up, and then, yeah.
I could see it, like in a perfect world, I see it working if everybody gets tested and they bring the proof that they're negative. But at the same time, they have to be accountable and maintain a small social group outside of the gym.
Yeah.
You know, like just be smart in your own practices, because you're going into another place, putting your whole essentially second family at risk. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if testing was a regular thing, like every Monday you test, and just
something like that, or every 2 weeks. You know, or if you even felt, oh, I might have put myself at risk. Hey, don't go to the gym. Go get tested or take precautions first.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've encountered people at the gym where they come in like with the flu, you know, they're like, oh, I need to sweat it out, and it's like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Or
Dude, that's how work was. Like, that was a normal thing. Like, people would come in
sick. Yeah.
Like, I don't want to use my sick day. And then now, if you do that, you're gonna be like, you're gonna have eyes on you.
and get your shit kicked out of you.
Yeah, I don't think like being sick is gonna be the same thing for the future now.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
like
before
any signs, you just get out of here.
Yeah, people would be like, "Oh, you're not sick." Yeah, right. But now they're like,
let me sneeze on you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So I'm not. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable going back, especially knowing what I have to practice for work. So if I have to take all these precautions for work, I'm on the gym. I'm gonna be that much more exposed with people. And again, it's like, I'm not afraid of what other people have. I'm afraid of catching it, not knowing, and passing it on. I mean, that's the whole point. You don't want to.
Yeah, definitely.
How many people at our gym have underlying health issues that none of us know?
Yeah.
You know, we don't want them to get sick and pass away. You know, we know a lot of people that train that have asthma. You know, and this is specifically attacking the lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, for one, worried about giving it to someone. 2 is my skill still there. I guess there's like multiple reasons.
Yeah.
And 3 is if I get heavy into it and I don't know, I get addicted again. I'm afraid of getting addicted and like going there for selfish reasons and forgetting.
No, it's understandable. Like, you just forget and you're like, oh, I'm good. Things are going good. And you just like don't even take the precautions and you just go back into like how you were before.
Yeah.
I could see that happening to me too, you know? You just get comfortable.
Definitely. Yeah. All right, I don't mean to end on a sour note.
Nah, it's all good.
But yeah, thanks for chatting with us, giving
for sure.
Giving us an hour and a half of your time.
Oh, cool.
Time flies when you do some podcast. Is this the first time you did like a podcast before?
Yeah, totally. So at first it was weird. I felt like I was like on a news station. So I'm just like, do I need to be all proper? And
you were pretty informal when you first started.
It was hard, yeah.
But it's all good. You
it was
kind of
good.
loosened up in the end.
It was interesting though. Like hearing all that, definitely interesting.
Especially like you don't know Miguel, so it's like, oh, I gotta be proper, but but it's all good.
Cool.
I think
I had fun.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. So I appreciate it. If you ever want to jump on again, if you want to tell us some new news or anything, or just or if you just want to have like a drink with us on here and we can just chat about things.
Yeah, sounds cool. And the same goes to you guys. If you're hearing other stuff and you want to know firsthand, I'm happy to share info.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Oscar.
Thank you guys.
Just stay on the line. Just don't
Stay on the line.
Just gotta end the recording.
Okay.
All right, later.
Later.
Nice. That was a good podcast.